My heart's pounding so hard, I can feel it in my throat. I'm standing in Albert's kitchen in Brooklyn, clutching my purse, when Evelyn lays it all out, her voice cutting through the air like a blade. "If you move in here, Judith, I'm taking Tommy and leaving. Albert won't see us again." Her eyes are locked on me, burning with a fury. I didn't expect hands gripping the counter like she's holding herself back from throwing something. I'm 67. My heart's been giving me trouble for years, and my doctor's been pushing me to stop living alone. I thought moving in with my son Albert and his family was the only way forward. I thought they'd want me around to help with Tommy, to be part of their lives. But now, Evelyn's standing there, her jaw tight, and Albert's frozen by the sink, his coffee mug trembling in his hand, and I feel like the ground's been ripped out from under me, leaving me dangling with no way to hold on. Before I dive into this story, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and comment with where you're watching from. Your support means everything. It's a Saturday morning, and I'd come over to talk about the move where my old recliner could fit, how I'd pitch in with cooking or cleaning. I was nervous, sure, but I figured we'd work it out together. Albert had nodded when I brought it up last week, said he'd talk to Evelyn, and I took that as a yes. So I showed up with my purse, ready to plan, only for Evelyn to explode the second I stepped inside. She didn't even let me sit down, just launched into it. "I'm not doing this, Judith. I'm not living with you. You're always picking at me how I raise Tommy, how I keep this place. If you move in, I'm gone." Her words hit me like a punch, knocking the air out of my lungs. I know I've made comments, maybe about Tommy's screen time or the laundry piling up, but I thought I was being helpful, a grandma looking out for her grandson. I open my mouth to say something, anything, but she cuts me off sharp. "Don't play innocent. You know what you're doing, always acting like I'm not good enough." Albert's still there, his face pale coffee, sloshing over the mug as he sets it down hard on the counter. "Evelyn Ma's not well," he says, his voice low, almost pleading. "She needs us." Evelyn whips around to face him, her eyes narrowing. "What about what I need? What about Tommy? You think it's fair to him having her here, judging everything I do?" I feel a jolt run through me, my hands tightening on my purse strap. I'm not some monster. I've brought Tommy toys, cooked meals when I visit, tried to be part of their world. But Evelyn's looking at me like I'm the enemy, and Albert's not stepping up to stop her. I try to speak, my voice shaky. "Evelyn, I didn't mean to upset you. I just need a place to stay." She crosses her arms, her lips pressing into a thin line. "Then find somewhere else. I'm not turning my home into your nursing home." Her words sting, and I can see she means it, every single syllable, dripping with resolve. Albert steps forward, his hands out like he's trying to calm a storm. "Evelyn, that's enough. We can talk this out." But she shakes her head, grabs her keys from the counter, and storms out, muttering something about taking Tommy to the park. The door slams shut, the sound echoing in the sudden quiet, and I'm left standing there with Albert, the tension thick between us. He rubs the back of his neck, looking at the floor. "Ma, I'm sorry." She's stressed. "I'll talk to her." I nod, but my chest feels tight, not just from my condition, but from the fear that this is bigger than a bad morning. I set my purse down on the table, my hands unsteady, and try to process what just happened. Evelyn's serious, and Albert's caught in the middle, and I'm the one they're fighting over. I leave their apartment, the subway ride back to Queens, dragging on forever. My stop at the 7th Avenue station feels like a mile away, my legs, heavy as I climb the stairs. My apartment's waiting, a mess of unwashed dishes and laundry spilling over the couch, and I collapse into my chair, staring at the peeling wallpaper. I call Albert that night, hoping he's made some progress. "How's it going, honey?" I ask, keeping my voice steady. He hesitates, then says, "It's rough, Ma." Evelyn's not backing down. I'm trying to find a way. My stomach twists, and I want to tell him to fight for me, to tell her I'm his mother, but I don't. I just say, "Okay, let me know," and hang up, the silence pressing in around me. The next few days are a blur of worry. I try to keep busy sorting through old bills, but my hands shake and I have to sit down. Albert visits once bringing a bag of groceries, milk bread, some canned soup. He unpacks it quietly, setting things on the counter. "You need anything else, Ma?" he asks, but his tone's flat like he's just checking a box. I pour him coffee, spilling some when my grip falters, and he grabs a rag to wipe it up. "You're not looking good, Ma." "You been taking your meds?" I nod, lying through my teeth. I've been getting too caught up in this mess to keep track. He sighs, rubs his face. "I'm trying with Evelyn, but she's serious. She won't live with you." I feel that pang again sharp in my chest. "What about you?" "What do you want?" I ask, my voice dropping. He looks away. "I want everyone to be okay, Ma." I don't know how to do that. His words hit hard, and I send him home, telling him I'll manage. But the second he's gone, I'm sinking into the chair, the weight of it all crashing down. I start noticing things I didn't before. Evelyn's always been quick to snap, but I thought it was just her way. Now I'm replaying every visit, my comments about Tommy's bedtime, the clutter in their kitchen, wondering if I pushed too far. I text her trying to smooth it over. "I don't want trouble. Can we meet?" I wait staring at my phone, but no reply comes. I try again the next evening. "Please, Evelyn. I just want to talk." Still nothing. It's like I'm shouting into the wind, and it's starting to boil my blood. I've never been cruel to her, just spoken my mind, but maybe I've been blind to how she takes it. I'm hurt, mad, and scared, all at once, pacing my living room as the days drag on. Albert comes by again, his eyes red like he's been up all night. He's carrying more groceries, setting them down with a heavy thud. "Ma, I talked to Evelyn." "She's not budging," he says, his voice low. I nod, feeling the tension rise. "What's she saying?" I ask. His shift's uncomfortable. "She thinks you'll take over, run the house." "I told her you won't, but she's set." I clench my fists, wanting to argue, but I hold back. "I just need help, Albert. That's all." He looks at me, then away. "I know, Ma. I'm working on it." He leaves and I'm alone again. The silence louder than ever, my mind racing with what to do next. I call my neighbor, Mrs. Carter, ask her to check on me. She shows up with a pot of soup, sees the mess, and starts tidying up. "Judith, you can't keep going like this," she says, her voice firm. I shrug, say I'm fine, but she's not convinced. She helps me to the couch, and we sit there, her stirring the soup while I stare at the wall. I tell her about Evelyn's threat, Albert's struggle, and she shakes her head. "You deserve better than this. He's your son." Her words stick with me, and I start thinking, maybe I need to push harder, find a way to make this work. I'm not giving up, not yet, but the clock's ticking, and I can feel it in every shaky breath. The week ends with another visit from Albert, this time with a tense look on his face. He sits me down, pulls out a notebook. Ma, I've been looking into options. Maybe a nurse here, or a place closer to us." I feel a jolt, my hands gripping the chair arms. "You mean a home?" I ask, my voice rising. He nods slow. "Just to keep you safe, Ma. Evelyn's not changing her mind." I stand up, pacing now, my anger flaring. "I raised you alone, worked my fingers to the bone, and now you're putting me in a home." He stands too, hands up. "I'm not, Ma. I'm trying to fix this." But his words don't calm me, and I tell him to leave, needing space to think. The door closes, and I'm left staring at the groceries. He brought the weight of it all, pressing harder than ever. I spend the next day calling around, looking for nurses, aides, anything to prove I can stay put. The quotes come back $5,000 a month for the cheapest, and I slam the phone down, frustrated. My savings won't cover it, and selling the house feels like giving up. I try Evelyn one last time, leaving a voicemail. "Evelyn, please. I don't want to lose my family. Let's talk." No call back, just silence, and it fuels the fire in me. I'm mad at her, at Albert, at myself for letting it get this far. I start packing a bag, thinking maybe I'll go to Albert's anyway. Force the issue, but my legs give out halfway, and I collapse on the bed. The bag half-zipped, the fight draining out of me for now. I'm back in my Queens apartment, after Evelyn's ultimatum, sitting on my sagging couch, staring at the coffee stains on the table. My chest feels heavy, not just from my heart condition, but from the weight of knowing I might lose my son. Albert's call from last night keeps replaying in my head, his voice strained, saying he's trying to talk to Evelyn, but she's not budging. I want to believe he'll fix this, that he'll stand up for me, but I'm scared he's slipping away. My apartment's a mess. Dishes piled in the sink, laundry spilling out of the basket, and I'm too weak to deal with it. I've been dizzy all morning, barely able to stand long enough to make tea. My doctor's words echo, I can't live alone anymore. But Evelyn's made it clear I'm not welcome in Brooklyn, and I'm running out of time to figure out what's next. I try to keep busy folding a few towels, but my hands shake, and I have to sit down. I grab my phone and text Evelyn, hoping maybe we can talk this out. I don't want trouble. Can we meet? I hit send and wait, staring at the screen. An hour passes, then two. No reply. I try again the next evening, keeping it short. Please, Evelyn. I just want to talk. Nothing. It's like I'm yelling into a void. I'm hurt, but I'm also starting to get mad. I've never been cruel to her. Sure, I've pointed out things: Tommy's messy room, her late dinners, but I wasn't trying to attack her. I thought I was helping, being a grandma, being family. Now I'm wondering if I've been blind all along, if I pushed her too far without realizing it. I pace the living room, the creaky floorboards groaning under my feet, my mind racing with every word she threw at me back in that kitchen. Albert comes over a couple days later, carrying a bag of groceries. He looks exhausted, bags under his eyes, like he hasn't slept in a week. He sets the bag on the counter and starts unpacking milk bread, some canned soup. You need anything else, Ma? He asks, but his voice is flat, like he's just going through the motions. I want to grab him, shake him, beg him to fight for me, but I don't. Instead, I pour him coffee, trying to act normal, but I spill it when my grip falters. He notices, grabs a rag to clean it up. You're not looking good, Ma. You've been taking your meds. I nod, but it's a lie. I've been forgetting, too caught up in this mess to keep track. He sighs, rubs his face. I'm trying with Evelyn, but she's serious. She won't live with you. I feel a pang in my chest, sharp and real. What about you? What do you want? I ask, my voice quieter than I mean it to be. He looks at the floor. I want everyone to be okay, Ma. I don't know how to do that. His words hit hard, and I send him home, telling him I'll manage, but the second he's gone, I'm sinking into the couch, feeling like I'm drowning. I call my friend Linda from the diner days, needing someone to talk to. She's tough, always has been, and I spill everything: Evelyn's threat, Albert's silence, my health crumbling. Judith, you can't let her push you out like this, she says, her voice firm. You're his mother. You've got a right to be with your family. I know she's trying to help, but it doesn't feel that simple. I don't want to fight dirty to make Albert pick sides. I just want a place in his life. Linda pushes me to look at other options, maybe a senior home or an aide, but when I check my bank account, it's grim. My savings are down to $6,000, and my pension barely covers rent. A senior home's out of reach, and an aide's not much better. I hang up, staring at the phone, wondering how I'm supposed to pay for anything, when every call I make comes back with a price I can't touch. I'm feeling worse every day, dizzy spells hitting harder. One morning, I'm trying to wash dishes when the room spins, and I grab the counter to keep from falling. My neighbor misses. Carter knocks on the door, sees me struggling, and insists on calling Albert. Judith, you're not okay, she says, her eyes worried. I try to wave her off, but she's already dialing. Albert shows up an hour later, his construction boots still dusty from work. Ma, what happened? He asks, helping me to the couch. I downplay it, say I just got lightheaded, but he's not buying it. I'm taking you to the doctor. No arguments. I'm too tired to fight him, so I nod and let him drive me to the clinic in Queens. The ride's quiet, the hum of the car filling the space where words should be, and I can feel his worry without him saying it. The doctor's not gentle with the news. My heart's worse, arrhythmia's getting dangerous, and they're talking about surgery if it doesn't stabilize. I need to rest, avoid stress, take my meds on schedule. Albert's in the room, listening, his face tight. What kind of surgery? He asks. The doctor explains something about a pacemaker, maybe more if things don't improve. I'm scared, but I don't want Albert to see it. I've always been strong for him, and I'm not stopping now. I'll be fine, I say, forcing a smile. He doesn't smile back. On the drive home, he's quiet, gripping the steering wheel hard. Ma, you can't keep living like this. We gotta do something. I know he's right, but all I can think about is Evelyn's face, her voice telling me I'm not welcome. When we get to my apartment, Albert stays for a bit, making sure I'm settled. He checks my fridge, my pill bottles, like he's trying to fix something he can't. I'll talk to Evelyn again, he says before he leaves. Maybe we can work out visits or something. I nod, but I don't believe it. Evelyn's made her choice clear, and I'm not part of it. After he's gone, I'm alone again. The apartment, feeling smaller like it's closing in. I try to eat some of the soup he brought, but my stomach's in knots. I keep picturing Tommy, my grandson, growing up without me, and it's like a knife in my chest. I turn on the television, some old show. I don't care about just to fill the silence, but it doesn't help. A few days later, I'm feeling a little stronger, so I decide to try one more time with Evelyn. I write her a letter, figuring maybe she'll read it if it's not my voice. I keep it simple. No blame, just honest. Evelyn, I'm sorry if I've upset you. I don't want to ruin your family. I just want to be part of it. Can we talk? I mail it, hoping it'll soften her. But deep down, I'm bracing for silence. I'm right. A week passes, no response. I check my phone every day, even call Albert to ask if she's said anything. I don't think she got it, Ma, he says. But I can tell he's lying. She got it. She just doesn't care. I slam the phone down, pacing again. My frustration boiling over as I think about how she's shutting me out. I'm starting to lean on Maria, my part-time housekeeper, more than I should. She's been coming by for years, cleaning, running errands, and lately she's been a lifeline. She's in her 40s, quiet but kind, always asking how I'm feeling. One night, she brings me tea and sits with me listening as I vent about Evelyn. You don't deserve this, Miss Judith, she says, patting my hand. Her words feel good, like someone's finally on my side. But there's a tiny voice in the back of my head, something I can't shake. Mrs. Carter's been dropping hints, saying Maria's around too much, getting too close. I push it away, tell myself I'm just paranoid, but it's there nagging at me as I sip the tea she made. Albert calls to check in, but it's quick, like he's rushing to get off the phone. Evelyn's still upset. Ma, I'm trying to find a middle ground. I want to scream that there is no middle ground, that his wife's trying to erase me, but I don't. I just say, keep me posted, honey. After we hang up, I'm pacing my living room, my heart racing, not from my condition, but from anger. I've fought my whole life to give Albert everything, and now I'm being pushed out like I don't matter. I'm not giving up, but I'm not sure how to keep going either. I start looking through old photo albums, pictures of Albert as a kid, and it hits me how far we've drifted. I put them away, determined to find a way through this, even if it means standing alone. I call Mrs. Carter again, ask her to come by. She brings more soup, sits with me, and we talk about the old days at the diner. She's the only one who's steady right now, and I lean on her more than I should. You need to rest, Judith, she says, adjusting my blanket. I nod, but rest feels impossible with Evelyn's threat looming. I try calling Albert again, leaving another voicemail. Honey, we need to sort this. I can't keep waiting. No call back, and it fuels my fire. I start thinking about selling the house, using the money to hire help, but the thought of losing my home after 30 years twists my gut. I'm stuck, and every option feels like a dead end. One evening I'm sorting through bills when I get so dizzy I nearly fall. I manage to call Mrs. Carter, who rushes over and insists on getting me to the hospital. Albert meets us there, his face pale as he talks to the doctors. They stabilize me, adjust my meds, but the warning's clear. I'm not getting better without serious changes. Albert drives me home, and for the first time, he sounds desperate. Ma, we gotta figure this out. You can't stay here alone. I nod, but all I can think is that the one place I want to be his home is the one place I'm not allowed. Maria's there when I get back, making soup, acting like everything's normal. "You need to rest, Miss Judith," she says, handing me a bowl. I thank her but misses. Carter's words are louder now, nagging at me. I'm starting to wonder who I can trust, and the uncertainty keeps me awake long into the night. I'm back from the hospital, weaker than ever, propped up on my couch with a blanket, Mrs. Carter draped over me. My heart's still acting up, and the new meds make me foggy. But what's really eating me is Albert's silence. He's been calling less, his visits shorter, like he's pulling away. I know it's because of Evelyn, her ultimatum hanging over us like a storm cloud. I'm trying to hold it together, but every day feels like I'm losing a little more of my son. My apartment's a mess, pills scattered on the counter, dishes piling up again, and I'm too tired to care. Maria's been coming by more, cleaning, cooking, but Mrs. Carter's warnings about her are starting to stick. I'm caught in a tug-of-war, and I'm not sure who's on my side anymore. Albert shows up one afternoon, carrying a stack of brochures for senior homes. He sets them on the coffee table, his face tight, like he's dreading this. "Ma, I've been looking into some places. Maybe this is the best option." His words hit like a punch. I know he's trying to solve things, keep Evelyn happy, but it feels like he's giving up on me. I stare at the brochures, glossy pictures of smiling old folks, and my chest tightens. "You want me in one of these?" I ask, my voice low. He rubs his neck, avoiding my eyes. "It's not that, Ma. I just want you safe." Safe. Like I'm a problem to be solved. I nod, say I'll look at them, but inside I'm breaking. I've spent my life fighting for him, and now he's pushing me away. He leaves the brochures, promising to check back, and I'm left staring at them, the weight of his suggestions sinking in deeper. I don't touch the brochures after he's gone. Instead, I call my lawyer, a guy I've known since my diner days. "I've been thinking about my house, the one worth $300,000, the one I always planned to leave Albert. But if he's choosing Evelyn, if he's okay with sticking me in some home, maybe I need to rethink things. Maria's been here day in and day out more than Albert lately." I tell the lawyer, I want to change my will. Leave the house to Maria. He hesitates, asks if I'm sure. I'm sure, I say, but my voice shakes. It's not just about the house. It's about taking back some control, showing Albert I'm not invisible. The lawyer draws up the papers, and I sign them a few days later, my hands steady for the first time in weeks. I mail them off, feeling a mix of relief and dread, wondering if I've gone too far. Albert finds out about the will change through a friend of the lawyer's, and he shows up at my apartment, furious. He's pacing my living room, his voice loud. "Ma, why Maria?" After everything, I'm sitting on the couch trying to stay calm, but my heart's racing. "She's been here, Albert." "Where've you been?" My words cut, and I see it in his face. Hurt, guilt, anger, all mixed together. He stops pacing, stares at me. "You're punishing me for trying to keep my family together." I shake my head. "I'm protecting myself." He storms out the door, slamming behind him, and I'm left alone wondering if I've just lost him for good. The sound of the slam echoes, and I sit there, the silence pressing in my mind, replaying our fight over and over. My health keeps slipping. I'm back in the hospital. A week later, another dizzy spell that sends me to the floor. Mrs. Carter finds me, calls Albert, and he's there when I wake up in the ER. The doctors are blunt, my heart's not stabilizing, and surgery's looking likely. Albert's hovering, asking questions, but there's a wall between us. "You gotta take care of yourself, Ma," he says, but it sounds hollow. Evelyn doesn't show this time, and I'm not surprised. I'm discharged with stricter orders. Rest, no stress meds every day. But how do I rest? When my son's barely speaking to me, I get home, and the apartment feels colder, the mess untouched, a reminder of how fast things are falling apart. Maria's at my place when I get home, making tea, acting like nothing's wrong. "You need to eat, Miss Judith," she says, setting a plate of eggs in front of me. I thank her, but Mrs. Carter's warnings are louder now. She pulls me aside a few days later, her voice low. "Judith, I'm telling you, Maria's too involved. I saw her going through your papers." I brush it off, say, "It's probably nothing but doubts creeping in." I start watching Maria closer, noticing how she asks about my bank account offers to pay my bills. It's small stuff, but it adds up. I confront her one morning, holding up a receipt. Maria, why's this bill higher than it should be? She stammers, says it's a mistake, and I let it go, but the suspicion lingers gnawing at me as she cleans the kitchen. I try to fix things with Albert. Call him, leave a voicemail. I don't want to fight, honey. Can we talk? He doesn't call back. I'm starting to feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. The senior home brochures are still on my table, untouched, mocking me. I look into aids again, but the cheapest ones cost $5,000 a month more than I can handle. Selling the house is my only real option, but now that I've left it to Maria, I'm not sure what to do. I call the lawyer back, ask about reversing it, but he says it's locked in unless I change it again. I hang up frustrated, pacing the living room, as the weight of my decision hits harder. One afternoon, Mrs. Carter stops by with more soup, and we sit at the table. She's been my rock, bringing food, checking on me, and today, she's got news. Judith. I saw Maria with some guy outside, handing him an envelope. Looked shady. My stomach drops. I thank her, my mind racing, and decide to check my bank statements. I find a transfer I didn't authorize, $200 to an account I don't recognize. I'm furious. My hands trembling as I dial Albert again. I'm swamped. Can it wait? He says when he picks up. No, it can't, I snap. Get over here. He agrees, and I hang up pacing, waiting the evidence spread out on the table as I prepare to face whatever comes next. I spend the day gathering more proof, digging through my desk, finding old bills Maria's handled. Mrs. Carter helps sorting through papers, and we uncover more discrepancies. A utility bill overpaid by $50 a receipt, with her name scribbled on it. I'm starting to see a pattern, and it's making my blood boil. Albert shows up, sees the mess on the table, and I point to the statements. Look at this. She's been taking money. He takes the papers, his face darkening. Ma, this is bad. I'll talk to someone. I nod, relieved he's finally stepping in, but the damage is done, and I'm left wondering how deep this goes, as he promises to follow up. The hospital calls later that week, scheduling a follow-up. I go with Mrs. Carter and the doctor's grim surgeries on the horizon, if the meds don't work. I nod, sign the forms, but my mind's on Maria, on Albert, on the mess I've made. Back home I try to rest, but every noise, the creak of the floor, the hum of the fridge, keeps me on edge. I call Linda again, tell her about the will, the hospital, Maria's tricks. Judith, you're letting them walk all over you, she says. You gotta stand up. I know she's right, but I'm tired. I'm not sure how much fight I have left. I start thinking maybe I should let go. Let Albert have his life with Evelyn and Tommy, but then I think of my grandson, his little laugh, and I can't give up. Not yet. I decide to confront Maria again, this time with Albert. He shows up the next day, and we wait for her. When she arrives, I hold up the statements. Maria, what's this? You taking my money, she stammers, says it's a mistake, but Albert cuts in. We're checking this out. You need to stop. She grabs her bag, leaves, and I'm left with Albert, the air thick with tension. He promises to get a lawyer, and I nod, feeling a flicker of hope. But the doubt lingers, and I spend the night staring at the ceiling, wondering if I've trusted the wrong people all along. I'm sitting in my Queens apartment, staring at my bank statement, the $200 transfer to an unknown account glaring at me. Maria's been acting normal, bringing me groceries, cleaning, but Mrs. Carter's warnings are screaming in my head. I'm 67, my health's failing, and I've been fighting to hold on to my son Albert while Evelyn shuts me out. Now I'm facing betrayal from Maria, the one person I thought was on my side. Albert's barely talking to me since I changed my will to leave the house to Maria, and Evelyn's a ghost ignoring my letter like I don't exist. I'm trying to hold on to my family, but now I'm wondering if the one person I've been leaning on, Maria, is playing me. My health's worse. I'm in and out of the hospital, and I'm running out of time to figure out who's on my side. Albert comes by, after I push him to talk, his face hard, as he sits on my couch. I show him the bank statement, tell him about the transfer. I think Maria's up to something, I say, keeping my voice steady. He leans forward, looks at the paper. You sure, Ma? Maybe it's a mistake. I shake my head. Mrs. Carter's been saying she's too close going through my stuff. Albert's quiet for a second, then sighs. I'll look into it. But Ma, this whole thing's gotta stop. You're tearing us apart. His words sting, but I'm not backing down. I did what I had to. You weren't there? He leaves without saying much, but I can tell he's rattled. I spend the afternoon pacing the floorboards, creaking my mind, racing as I gather more papers to show him next time. I start digging, checking my accounts, my papers. I find a bill Maria paid, but the receipt's off $50 more than it should be. I confront her the next time she's over, holding up the receipt. What's this, Maria? You overpaying or keeping the change? She's all wide eyes, says it's a mix-up, promises to fix it. I don't buy it, but I let it go, watching her closer as she sweeps the floor. Mrs. Carter's been keeping an eye out too, says she saw Maria talking to a guy outside my building, someone she didn't recognize. Judith, you gotta protect yourself, she says, bringing me a cup of tea. I know she's right, but I'm scared. Maria's been my rock, and if she's betraying me, I'm more alone than I thought. I thank Mrs. Carter, and she pats my hand, staying a bit longer to help me sort through the mess. My health's not helping. I'm back in the hospital after another dizzy spell, my heart rate all over the place. Albert's there asking the doctors about surgery, looking like he's aged 10 years. We're doing everything we can, the doctor says, but I hear the worry in his voice. I'm discharged with more meds told to avoid stress, but that's impossible. Albert drives me home, and for the first time he softens. Ma, I'm sorry it's like this. I'm trying to fix it. I nod, but I'm too tired to hope. Evelyn's still a wall between us, and I'm done begging her. I sent that letter, poured my heart out, and got nothing. She's made her choice. Back at the apartment, I try to rest, but every creak of the building keeps me on edge, my mind stuck on Maria. I call Linda, tell her about Maria, the bank stuff, Albert's reaction. You need a lawyer, Judith, she says. Get your will, checked your accounts, everything. I know she's right, so I set up a meeting with my lawyer. He's skeptical, says everything looks legal, but I push him to dig deeper. I'm not letting Maria or anyone take advantage of me. I'm starting to see I've been too trusting, too focused on Evelyn's rejection to notice what's happening under my nose. I change my bank passwords, freeze my accounts, tell Maria I'll handle my own bills for now. She's all smiles, says she understands, but I see something in her eyes, nervousness maybe. I watch her leave the door, clicking shut, and I start going through my desk, looking for more clues. Albert's checking into Maria too, talking to a guy he knows who does background checks. He calls me with an update. Ma, she's got a history. Nothing concrete, but she's worked for old folks before, and some money went missing. My stomach drops. I feel like a fool, but I'm also angry. I trusted her, let her into my life, and now this. I tell Albert to keep digging, and he agrees. It's the first time we're working together, and it feels like a small step back to each other. He promises to call back with more, and I hang up my hands, gripping the phone as I think about what this means. I spend the evening sorting through old receipts, finding more odd payments, my frustration growing with every discovery. Mrs. Carter stops by, again bringing more soup, and we sit at the table. She's been my lifeline, checking on me, and today she's got more to say. Judith. I saw Maria again, same guy, another envelope. It's not right. I thank her, my mind racing, and decide to call the lawyer back. He agrees to look into the power of attorney, promising to get back to me. I hang up, pacing again, the tension building as I wait. Albert shows up later, his face grim, and hands me a report. Ma, this guy says, Maria's done this before. We need to act. I nod, feeling a rush of relief mixed with anger, and we start planning our next move. The papers spread out between us. I'm still weak, barely able to get out of bed some days. Mrs. Carter's been a godsend, bringing food, checking my meds. She's the one who finds something that changes everything. A folder in my desk, with papers I didn't sign, power of attorney forms with Maria's name. I'm shaking when I see it, not from my condition, but from betrayal. I call Albert, tell him to come over right away. Ma, "What's wrong?" he asks when he gets here. I show him the papers, my voice steady. "She's trying to take everything." He's furious, says he's calling his guy to dig deeper. I'm scared, but I'm also ready to fight. We spend hours going over the forms, marking dates, numbers, building a case as the night stretches on. The hospital calls again, scheduling tests for the surgery. I go with Mrs. Carter and the doctor's cautious surgery's risky but necessary. I sign the papers, my hand steady, but my mind's on Maria, on Albert, on the mess unfolding. Back home I try to rest, but every sound, the wind against the window, the drip of the faucet, keeps me awake. I call Linda again. Tell her about the forms, the report. "Judith, you're on the right track," she says. "Don't let up." I nod to myself, determined, and start making a list of what to tell the lawyer, my resolve hardening with every word. Albert comes back with more from the investigator, a thicker report this time. "Ma, she's moved money before small amounts, adding up to $2,000. I'm floored, my anger flaring. As I read the details, we call the lawyer together, setting up a meeting, and I feel a shift. Albert's in this with me now. We spend the evening planning, calling banks, gathering evidence, the apartment buzzing with activity. I'm exhausted, but I'm not backing down. The doubt's still there, but so is the fight, and I'm holding on to it as tight as I can. I'm sitting in my queen's apartment, the power of attorney papers spread out on the coffee table, my heart racing from anger, not my condition. Mrs. Carter found these in my desk forms. I never signed giving Maria control of my finances. I'm 67, my health's failing, and I've been fighting to hold on to my son Albert while Evelyn shuts me out. Now I'm facing betrayal from Maria, the one person I thought was on my side. Albert's here looking at the papers, his face hard. "Ma, this is serious. We're getting a lawyer." I nod, feeling a mix of relief and fury. I'm done being played. I'm fighting for my family, my house, my life, and I'm not backing down. Albert hires an investigator, a guy from his construction crew, who knows how to dig. It costs $5,000 money. I don't have, but Albert covers it. "We're fixing this, Ma," he says, and for the first time in months, I believe him. The investigator works fast, finds dirt on Maria. She's done this before, cozying up to elderly clients, getting into their accounts, their wills. There's no hard proof yet, but it's enough to act. I confront Maria when she comes by holding up the papers. "What are these? You trying to steal from me?" She's all tears, says it's a mistake, that she'd never hurt me. "I've been good to you, Miss Judith," she says, "but I'm not falling for it." I tell her to leave, say I'm handling things myself now. She grabs her bag and goes, and I lock the door behind her, my hand steady as I watch her disappear down the hall. I meet with my lawyer, show him the papers, the investigator's report. He's grim, says we can undo the forms, freeze her access, but it'll take time. I'm furious at myself for trusting her, for letting her get so close. I change my will back, leave the house worth $300,000 to Albert. It's not about the money anymore. It's about us, about fixing what's broken. I sign the new papers, my hand steady, and for the first time in months, I feel like I'm in control. The lawyer promises to file everything, and I leave his office with a stack of documents, my steps lighter as I head back to Queens. Albert's with me through it all, checking in, helping with the lawyer. We're talking again, really talking, not just about Maria, but about everything. "Ma, I messed up," he says one night, sitting in my living room. "I should have fought harder for you." I nod, my throat tight. I wasn't perfect either. I pushed too hard. It's not a full fix, but it's a start. He stays late helping me sort through the mess Maria left, and we laugh about old times, the tension easing as we work. Evelyn's still distant, but Albert says she's softening, maybe because she sees I'm not trying to take over. I don't care about her approval anymore. I just want my son and Tommy in my life. The legal stuff drags on, court dates, fees piling up. We get the power of attorney, revoked, frees Maria's access to my accounts. The investigator finds more bank transfers, small ones adding up to $2,000, she siphoned over months. It's enough to press charges, but I just want her gone. Maria disappears. No calls, no visits, and I'm glad. Albert brings me the final papers from the lawyer, and we sit at the table, going over every line. "It's done, Ma," he says. And I sign off feeling a weight lift as we put the past behind us. We spend the afternoon cleaning out Maria's traces, tossing old receipts, wiping down surfaces. The apartment slowly feeling like mine again. My health still shaky, and the doctors say surgery's coming soon. I'm scared, but I'm not facing it alone. Albert's there bringing Tommy to visit his little face, lighting up when he sees me. I move into a senior home nearby. One Albert helps pay for costing $8,000 a month. It's not what I wanted, but it's better than being alone in Queens. The place is clean, the staff's kind, and I'm close enough for Albert to visit weekly. Tommy comes too, showing me his drawings, telling me about school. It's small, but it's enough. I unpack my things, hanging old photos on the wall, and the room starts to feel like home, the hum of the place. A comfort after months of chaos. Evelyn shows up, once awkward, making small talk. "Tommy wanted to see you," she says, avoiding my eyes. I nod, say thanks, but I'm not holding my breath for more. She brings Tommy in, and he runs to me, hugging my legs, his laughter filling the room. Albert watches, a faint smile on his face, and I see a crack in Evelyn's wall, though she doesn't stay long. I don't push her, just focus on Tommy, letting him show me his latest project, a clay dinosaur he made at school. We sit on my bed, and I listen, the tension fading as we talk. Albert stays after she leaves, helping me adjust the curtains, and we talk more, planning his next visit. The surgery looms closer, and Albert takes me to another appointment. The doctor's cautious, explaining the risks, but I sign the forms ready to face it. Albert holds my hand in the waiting room, and it's the first time in months I feel steady. Back at the home, I start settling and joining a craft group, making friends with a woman named Clara, who shares my love of old movies. We watch one together, laughing at the corny lines, and it's a relief to have something normal. Albert calls every day, updating me on work on Tommy, and I feel the distance shrinking our bond, rebuilding with every conversation. I think about the past, the fights with Evelyn, the betrayal by Maria, and how close I came to losing everything. Albert brings Tommy again, and we play a card game, his little hands fumbling with the deck, making us laugh. Evelyn comes too, staying longer this time, asking about my health. "You holding up?" "Okay," she asks, and I nod, keeping it light. It's not forgiveness, but it's a start, and I take it. Albert helps me with my meds, setting up a chart, and we talk about the house now, his a symbol of our reconciliation. I'm not rich, not fixed, but I've got my son back, and that's more than I hoped for. The surgery date gets set, and Albert arranges everything: transport, post-op care. I pack a small bag, nervous but ready, and he stays with me the night before, sleeping on a chair in my room. We talk late about his childhood, my diner days, and it feels like we're family again. The morning comes, and he drives me to the hospital, holding my hand as they wheel me in. I wake up groggy, see him there, and know I've made it through. Recovery's slow, but he visits every day, bringing Tommy, and we build a routine: cards, stories, quiet moments. Evelyn joins, sometimes bringing food, and though it's awkward, it's progress. I settle into the home, my room now filled with Tommy's drawings, Albert's visits, and a cautious peace with Evelyn. The house in Queens is sold, the money helping with my care, and Albert uses some to fix up his place. We talk about the future, about Tommy growing up, and I feel a sense of closure. It's not a fairy tale ending, but it's real, and I'm holding on to it. The staff at the home throw a small party for my birthday, and Albert, Tommy, and even Evelyn show up laughing as we cut the cake. I look at them, my family, and know I've fought for this, earned this, and it's enough to keep me going. If this story hit you, check out the next one on your screen. Click subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming. Thanks for being here.